What's going on, everyone? What's happening? How are you today on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday? It is Wednesday, right? I'm getting all screwed up. I swear to God, I'm screwed up anyway. Okay. We all know that I'm screwed up anyway, but now we factor in the holiday, this and that, yada, yada, yada. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's hump day giveaway. That's right. That's right. It is hump day giveaway. So, what do we have today? Well, the Phillies did something. I mean, I don't even know what to say about the Phillies yesterday. That was insane. That was insane. So I'm going to have a podcast up on the Phillies after this Red series. I don't know what yesterday means until I see what happens today. Like if they lose 6-0, it's like, all right, here we go again. It doesn't really matter. If they win 4-0, or if they win again, then we feel a little bit differently about the performance. So I just don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what yesterday meant until I see what today is. So we're going to wait and see, especially because it was an afternoon game. They play at 12:30 after a 7 o'clock game. We're going to wait and see what that Phillies game was all about before we discuss yesterday's craziness. But Cutch, 2 bombs, 4 RBI, a couple walks. Odubel, 2 bombs. Torreyes hit a bomb. Reese Hoskins hit a bomb. Alec Boehm had a huge hit, had a couple hits, but he provided a big RBI early in the game. I was like stunned. What am I watching? Oh my, what team is this? Is this the wake-up call that we needed? Pretty damn crazy. Also, Damian Lillard. I haven't seen anything like that in my life, and apparently neither has Tide 2K. Dame was ridiculous. Those step-back threes, overtime, just bonkers. Literally absurd. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Just insane. So what's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? Oh, that's right. I did shave. Yes. Yes, I did get a little shave in last night. You know what I'm saying? I did do a little trim. Was getting a little lazy every time I needed to shower, which is every day. I would look and be like, I should do it today. Nope, not going to. I should do it today. Nope, not going to. I should do it today. Nope, not going to. Yeah, I'm going to fucking do it. We've all been there, right? We've all been there. Didn't feel like it. Things of that nature, but here we are. All right, before we kick things off into full gear, if you will. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? I thought I had my Starbucks cup from yesterday, but no, if you watched my podcast that I put up yesterday about Joel Embiid being doubtful, I had a nice fat white chocolate mocha cold brew late afternoon. It was probably around 5 o'clock or 5:30, a little later than late afternoon, evening, if you will. Some people even classify that as nighttime. No wonder why I had a tough time falling asleep. All right, everyone. Cheers. I had to watch my tongue on that sip. Lakers, rip Lakers. Yeah, the Lakers look toast. Look toast. And I know that LeBron James is the hot item today. It's like LeBron James stinks. LeBron James awful. No, LeBron James in his 18th year, and it looks like he's coming back from injury. Yeah, he's looking to be more like a human being than he did earlier in his career. My man is in year, 18? And he was banged up heading into the playoff series and barely played regular season action. Yeah, you know what? It looks like LeBron James is a little bit human. It looks like he's going to be a human this year, and that's okay. Like it's all right. Oh, LeBron's a bum. LeBron stinks. The fact that that's how people are reacting tells me everything I need to know about where LeBron is and who LeBron is and what LeBron has done. The fact that you feel the need to express your feelings towards how much you think he sucks after this type of playoff run, I think it tells me basically everything I need to know about where you are in the LeBron James department. Yeah, the Lakers team's bad too. That's a good point. Like Anthony Davis isn't there. The team just doesn't have a good vibe this year. There's something missing with that team. Now, if they win game 6, are the conversations going to change? That, I wouldn't want to face LeBron James in a game 7. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, it does go back to Staples Center, and LeBron is LeBron James. So you can't count him out at all because it is LeBron James. But, yeah, we'll see. It doesn't seem like it's the year for them, and If that's the case, that's the case. It's no knock. It's no knock. Dame the Philly, take Simmons. Yeah, I mean, look, there's very few people that I would trade Ben Simmons for. James Harden was one. Damian Lillard is the other, and it's not even close. Yeah, if you could you imagine a two-man game? This isn't going to happen, so let's not blow this out of proportion. But could you imagine a two-man game between Damian Lillard and Joel Embiid in Philadelphia? That would just be absolutely absurd. That would be absurd. You did have C.J. McCollum yesterday step out of bounds, and you could see his facial expression on the bench. He was very disappointed in himself. It was a pretty crazy game. I mean, that was fun, back and forth action. That was really, really, really solid. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we don't know if it'll be the series of the playoffs. It can easily be the Eastern Conference Finals because whatever that team playing the Philadelphia Sixers could be a 7-game series. It could be an epic Game 6 series. It could be just as lethal. I was thinking about that too because that's what everyone's pumped for, right? And we should be. We should be excited for a Bucks-Nets series because it's going to be entertaining basketball. But imagine going through that gauntlet of, let's say the Bucks win, right? And let's say they beat Miami in 4, which didn't seem like a tough opponent, but it's a mentally prepared opponent. It's not like playing the Washington Wizards. You know what's on the other side, and you got to bring that competitive heat, but they take care of business in 4. Let's say you have to go against the Bucks and the Sixers, and your gauntlet is a 7-game series between both of them. Series 2 against the Bucks goes 7. Sixers series goes 7. And you need to play those two tough-ass opponents to get to the finals to play another opponent that is just as scary good as the Nets would be, as the Sixers would be. It's like, geez, when do I get a breather? You don't. You just don't. You just don't. Brodes, hello from Italy. Was fun, or was it not, what the Phillies did last night? Oh, it was fun. No, it was absolutely fun. It doesn't tell me enough because one game is what it is. How are they going to follow this up? Are they going to be sharper? Well, not sharper than yesterday. That's pretty tough to be. But are they going to be sharper what they've been giving us? Are they going to win again? If they lose again 5-0, that game meant nothing. It was just a blip. It was just a bad game for the Reds, and they're going to win the series. So it doesn't really matter if they shit the bed today. I didn't think Nola was that good, to be honest with you. He just ended up getting his 1,000th strikeout. And on top of that, you had a lot of run support. But ultimately, if I'm just purely analyzing Nola, a lot of hits, a couple missed spots. There was one time he has a count 0 for 2, and somehow he loses them. It's 3-2. Now it's a full count. He allows a single in between shortstop and third base in the infield. What's going on? You can't lose batters like that. I didn't think Nola was that good, to be honest with you. He just had a lot of explosion with the offense. I just realized if Philly had Dame, teams would have to pick their poison and beat up by Embiid and double Dame or vice versa. Yeah, that's the power of having two insane stars, or you just live with them doing damage. How are you going to – it's the same philosophy that you can apply to the Brooklyn Nets. How are you going to approach their team? Pick your poison. Kevin Durant, James Harden, or Kyrie Irving. That's why we talk about the Brooklyn Nets the way that we talk about the Brooklyn Nets. It's not going to be easy. You have to pick your poison because all three of those guys can score you 40 points. Definitely not easy. Why is Mike Scott playing center? Well, the reason why it happened last game is because Ben Simmons had 5 fouls. So if you're going to put Ben Simmons at center, you know there's going to be fouls that are going to get picked up. And when he had foul trouble, when he had his 4th foul 12 seconds into the second half, and I don't even know why he put himself in the position for the referees to even call that foul. That's a little outrageous. My bad. Why even do that? Why are you putting yourself in that position? You know what type of game they're calling. You see that they have been very brutal in that area, yet you're allowing them to call the whistle. You're putting yourself in a spot on the court where you could force the refs to even blow the whistle, even if it's bad. You know they're bad. You know that they have been off all game long. So shame on you. You need to recognize that. You need to adjust. You need to see that as a player and realize I got to do something different. I can't just pounce 12 seconds in to that second half. I mean, that's kind of stupid basketball in my opinion. So that happened. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. One of the reasons why is because of the foul trouble that he was in. And Maxey running point, sure, Maxey, George Hill. I could go with either or. I love Tyrese Maxey. I think there's a role for him. I feel better with George Hill, but I think that Tyrese Maxey has earned this. I was afraid of his rawness. I was afraid of how young he was, but it doesn't seem like the moment is too crazy for him. That doesn't mean I'm going to rely on him in all these amazing big moments. That's not the case, but I have more trust in him than I did, let's say, 3 games ago. He had his number called a few times, and he's delivered. Wouldn't that help us if Nets Bucks go 7? Of course. Of course. The amount of times these teams play, that's why people are sitting here rooting for the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks to continue. If that game goes back to Atlanta, the more they beat up on one another, the better it is. The better it is. It helps you out. They're fatigued. They put in more effort. They got to bang more down low. I mean, it's all one big process, if you will. So, yeah, of course, you want them to go as long as possible in these 7-game series. Refs be calling weird stuff. I feel like we say that every game, about every team, about every NBA game. Seriously, every NBA game, we bitch and complain about the referees. Not just because they're bad at their job. So this is no different. This shouldn't be as surprising. This shouldn't be as embarrassing. This shouldn't be as frustrating. This is the NBA. We as fans have been screaming that the NBA stinks with their refereeing since the NBA started, since tip-off game 1 of the NBA's existence. Us fans have been ripping apart the refs for how bad it was. How bad it was. It will go 7 because the NBA is rigged. Well, it's hard to argue that the NBA has some shady stuff that happens behind closed doors, considering what we have seen with referees in the past. Do they want things to go longer? Sure, they want things to go longer, but I don't know what. It depends on how rigged you mean. I mean, there's people out there that truly believe that sports are fixed and it's like WWE. If you think it's to that level, no. Do I think that there's times where the NBA is rooting for another game for more revenue? Yes, but I don't think that's the same as rigging the NBA finals and having a certain team win and it all being planned. There's conspiracy theorists out there that truly do believe that all sports are already projected out and we're just watching it as if it's fake wrestling. Well, I think that's a little crazy. Who do I want to see step up? Oh, it's got to be Tobias. If it's not Ben Simmons, besides Ben Simmons, it has to be Toby. That's how you're going to have a good shot at this thing. He's been your secondary closer. He's been your secondary piece. When Joel Embiid hasn't been available, he's been your go-to guy in fourth quarter situations. He's done a good job at attacking mismatches. He's been strong with decision-making and going and attacking early instead of dribbling too much. Not so much last game. I think that's one of the reasons why you saw him 8 of 24, whatever he finished with. I think it was about 8 of 24. One of the reasons why he was so damn inefficient is because he was dribbling too much. He was thinking about what he was going to do instead of knowing what he was going to do. And it comes down to Tobias, because if Ben has a good game with a couple shooters, is that going to have the same type of impact as if Tobias had one of his monster nights where he gives you 28 points, gives you maybe 12 boards, maybe 5 assists, and he's that Tobias that we've seen for the most part this season, you know? If Embiid doesn't play, what's my starting 5? It will probably be Ben Simmons at the 5. What I would do is Ben Simmons at the 5, Tobias at the 4, Danny Green at the 3, Seth Curry at the 2, and then it either comes down to George Hill or Tyrese Maxey. I'm a little hesitant to go Tyrese Maxey just because, as I've been alluding to, there is something with me and younger players where I'm not ready to go all in, full throttle. He's had some nice moments. It's the Andrew Knapp thing. Andrew Knapp, he's amazing. Yeah, then you give him full time and he hits 140. Then you give him more minutes. Sometimes players are good because you just get them for spurts. starting Matisse Thybulle for 38 minutes might not be the same impact as getting Matisse Thybulle for 22 minutes off the bench. Now, I'm not saying Tyrese Maxey can't handle it. I think he's got an attitude and an edge to him. I'm just a little hesitant, and I think I'd probably go George Hill and just have Tyrese Maxey be that bench piece that George Hill normally is and put Tyrese Maxey in that role. So I'd probably go Hill, Seth, Danny, Tobias, Ben Simmons. But it might be Ben Simmons, Seth, Danny, Tobias, Mike Scott, or Dwight Howard as your 5. I don't like starting him. I don't think that's a good role for him. I don't think that's the best area for him. I'd go with my first one of Ben at the 5, but we'll see. I wish we got Ben moving towards the basket more. Remember we saw him where it would be this was with the Ben Simmons, or excuse me, with the Brett Brown era, but we'd see him be the screen setter, and then he'd roll to the basket, and you can get a bounce pass as he's moving full speed. Who's stopping him when he's going downhill? The answer is no one, and that's why we feel to get on him when he's not going downhill and lowering his shoulder and attacking. But if you can get him rolling to the basket as a screener, I don't think we've seen that as much this season. Not as much. There are times. I'm not saying there's no times, but I remember it specifically more with Brett Brown. But that's also because they played him off the ball in that series a lot more. And it's like, hey, we got to take him off the ball, utilize Jimmy Butler more. So, that played a factor for sure. Ben Simmons making a jump shot in the play. He already did that. He did that fadeaway 5 to 6 footer. It was like a weird fadeaway, but he squared up his shoulder. He was fading left, had to maneuver his body and twist it in midair and square up his shoulders as he was taking the bucket, and he made it. So there was a part of that did happen. I don't know if Ben at the 5 would be good. That means Tobias has to get rebounds. Well, Ben Simmons can get rebounds, and Tobias gets rebounds. Tobias is actually a good rebounder, so I don't see why that would be a big deal if he was to get rebounds on Gafford. Tobias is a good rebounder. Ben Simmons is a good rebounder. I mean, yeah, it's not 7'2", but I don't think it's insanely game-changing to the point where we're now insanely afraid of Gafford. Only one who stops Ben Simmons going downhill is Ben Simmons himself. That is amazing. That's actually a beautiful quote because it's reality. It's reality. Well, where else over here? Sources say that Harper is looking to void out his contract. That's just a dumb comment. That's just a dumb comment. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if he truly does feel that way internally. It's not real in terms of actually happening, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce Harper's playing with crew out back with a tee, with a baseball on a tee, hacking some swings, or if he's playing video games on his Twitch stream and he's being horrendous. I would not be surprised if there is a bit of Bryce Harper internally that does feel that way, because I don't blame him. I'd feel the same exact way. Ben Simmons drains threes in warm-ups, but can't hit free throws. Luka is also noticeably bad at free throws considering his overall shooting talent. What does Luka Doncic shoot from the line? I don't know off the top of my head. Are we going to find out? If we go to Basketball Reference, his career is 73. Is he shooting way worse this season compared to his... No, he's shooting his average. He's shooting 73% from the free throw line. Yeah, that's a good point. LeBron James was never a phenomenal shooter. We know that. He kind of adapted and learned that part of the game. But he's a pretty bad free throw shooter as well. His average is 73. But the last few years, it's been worse. And this year, 70. He's shooting 70 this season. But his 18-year career, he's in year 8. It's just ridiculous. He played 58. Just crazy. He's at 70 this season. Look at his playoff. Who's? Luka's? Who's free throw shooting? Luka's or LeBron's? I don't know why I'm typing with my coffee mug clearly in my way, and I'm not changing that. Dame is better than Curry? It depends on what you're... Dame is like the most clutch Dame time player we've ever seen. I mean, Dame in the clutch might be the best clutch shooter we've seen. Obviously, Kobe and Michael Jordan, things of that nature. But I'm talking about in this era of basketball, when you talk about that clutch shot, Dame time is a real thing. In terms of all around product and champion and best shooter of all time, I mean, you can't downplay what Steph Curry has done to this point. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you're just looking for that clutch one moment, yeah, Damian Lillard has to be at the top of the list. Let's not downplay how amazing Steph Curry is and how he wins championships and has been a crucial part of a championship caliber run that Damian Lillard hasn't been a part of. Now, he hasn't had Klay Thompson. He did not add Kevin Durant, and there was no Draymond Green. So, yes, it does matter that Steph Curry had that. But that was Steph Curry. Without Steph Curry being on that team, I don't think that starts the Golden State Warriors and their run. If you just had Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, I don't think you're having the same type of squad and the championship caliber stretches that they went on. So Steph Curry was very, very, very important. I think that's an emotional comment after last night. Doesn't matter if we win by 100. I'd be upset if Doc doesn't give Maxey more minutes tonight. I quite frankly, I don't give a damn if he does or doesn't. If you win by 100, I just win by 100. I don't care how. See, that's asinine to me. It's the playoffs. I don't care how you won. Sure, I will nitpick things throughout because that's what I do, and I will discuss the third quarter, the second quarter. I will discuss moments. But if you tell me that you win a game and Maxey didn't play, well, I mean, I'm not going to criticize. That means whatever he did worked. Whatever he decided to go with was smart. But you're not going to see Maxey get benched. I mean, Maxey forced Doc to play him. That's not going to be the case. He might get the same minutes that he got last game. He might get the same minutes. But that would be ridiculous if you got upset with the win because he didn't play Tyrese Maxey more minutes. I don't know. Very situational, of course. But your hypothetical said they win by 100 and Maxey didn't get more minutes. That's where I'm having the issue with the correlation here. They won by 100 and a bench player didn't play as much as you wanted. I don't know. A little crazy to me. Yeah, I mean, there is reasons to criticize and there are reasons to discuss things after a win. Just like in game one, Ben Simmons had 15 assists and 15 rebounds. He also ran away from late game possessions that scared me for future games. And what do you know? Game 4, that costed you a win. So you can still criticize and analyze after a win. It doesn't all have to be pom-poms and ho-hum. With that being said, that hypothetical read out that you won by 100 and a bench player didn't get as many minutes as you would have liked. I mean, that's a pretty intense hypothetical to get all pissed off about, right? Stop playing Shake. Yes, there is an element of Shake Milton not needing to be out there on the floor. Think about this. You know it's bad for Shake when I would rather see Furkan Korkmaz than Shake Milton. Seriously, that's how bad Shake Milton has played. I'd rather see Furkan Korkmaz than Shake Milton. He's been that bad. Am I going to any Sixers playoff games? Not off the top of my head that I know of, but that doesn't mean something won't come up and I'll end up going. But no, I don't have anything planned for this specific moment, or I know I will be going this specific date. No, I don't have anything legitimately planned out at this very second. Do I think the Sixers will win tonight? I do. I think you're on your home floor. You have max capacity, so it's going to be insane. You heard Doc Rivers and Ben Simmons and all these players talking about how 10,000 felt like it was a packed arena. I could only imagine what 20-something thousand is going to sound like tonight. So I think the energy will be there. Without Joel Embiid, if he doesn't play, it's a different element for sure, but they have enough talent. I'd be extremely disappointed. There's no excuse. There's no free pass. There's no, but Joel didn't play. There's none of that garbage. Go win the basketball game. You have enough talent. You're on your home floor. Bet into Tobias. You are betting Tobias. You're betting Tobias. Go. Go get the win. Put the team on your back. Have a big playoff moment. Shut the door. Don't allow this to go back to Washington, D.C. So we're playing this stupid game of, oh, here we go. What if Joel Embiid, this and that? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No. No playing that game. Just go win. So we'll see what happens. We are getting Boston Celtics president of basketball operations, Danny Ainge, is seriously considering his future with the franchise and could make a decision to step down. Wow, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty damn wild, you know? One of my buddies, I think I brought this up before about how they were tweeting about the first thing that needs to happen is Brad Stevens needs to get fired. That tweet happened again last night. And it's like, your team is just not properly constructed. Jaylen Brown is not available. You don't have a real center that can, like a real center. Tristan Thompson is what he is, but come on now. You don't have a real center. Your team is so flawed, yet you're demanding Jason Tatum and Brad Stevens to put together this epic game plan to beat the Brooklyn Nets. Now, you just don't have it. You just don't have it this year. And that's okay to admit. But you're putting too much stock on the head coach. Now, all of a sudden, the same guy 2 years ago that you claimed was the best coach you've ever seen and he's a guru, now stinks and needs to get canned. I mean, it's a joke the way that people look at the NBA head coaching. It really does. Really does. Yo. What up? What up? What up? Philly Talk Podcast. We know what it is. Make sure you check him out. Will. Are you saying Will as in Will close out? Will close? Is that what we're doing? If that's not it, I feel like an absolute jerk off. I feel like an absolute asshole. But I think what you're saying is will close. As in they will close it out. And if I'm wrong and I'm not even close, well then, fuck. But I think they will. I think I am looking at the energy that's going to be in the building, and I just feel if they go on one of those runs, it could suffocate the Wizards. Absolutely suffocate the Wizards. And just be extremely overwhelming and extremely absurd. You know? You know what else is absurd? It's pretty simple. Steel Dash. They're absurd because of all these great, phenomenal things that you can find for so cheap. It's like TikTok. I get sucked into watching TikTok for hours. I get sucked into all these penny auctions on Deal Dash, and I'm looking at all these absurd deals that I need to get my hands on instantly. It's no surprise that I love winning. That's why I enjoy watching the 76ers this season, okay? And I'm still winning even when they're not playing because of Deal Dash, the online shopping platform that is actually fun. Deal Dash is the longest running penny auction website and app around. Too good to be true? You bet it is. I've seen a car sold for $900. I've seen a brand new TV for less than $2. Do not be a loser and stop paying full retail price for the things you want and get on Deal Dash. Go to www.dealdash.com or download the app. By the way, when you register, enter the promo code COFFEE. That's promo code COFFEE for a special offer and for some bonus opportunities. The link in the description, if you're listening to this on YouTube, has a link that will bring you automatically to their website with my promo code already in place. So check it on out. Odubel is going to be first ballot Hall of Fame. After those bat flips last night, probably. That second bat flip was unreal. He launched that baby. He launched the ball. And then from there, it was just an executed bat flip that put a big smile on my face. How about Matt Joyce? Matt Joyce hitting a grand slam. Matt Joyce like, I don't think this game's over. What are we, switching position players for position play? Okay. Here comes the grand salami. Here comes 4 runs. Give me my production. Okay, give me my RBIs. Give me my dinger. I need it for the stat sheet. I'm a utility guy. I can get as many stats as I need as many stats as I can get. Let's go. How many runs will the Phillies score next game? That's what I'm waiting for, Alex. That's what I'm waiting to see. They play this afternoon at noon, right? 12:30. This is telling to me. If they win 8-2, if they win 6-2, if they win 4-0, if they win 4-1, by all means, I'm going to be excited. If they end up losing 4-0 and they don't score any runs, and we're going through the same garbage that we've seen, bad play in third base, bad play in the outfield, allowing the other team to get 4 outs instead of 3 outs because you're making mental mistakes, well, then that game yesterday meant nothing. That game yesterday would mean absolutely nothing if that was the case. So I'm waiting to see what occurs so then I can have more conversation about what we witnessed yesterday. I had this thought last night, but I don't think it's the move. Should they consider trading Odubel? Well, it depends. If you're in the mix, which you're going to be because this division's crap, no, you're not going to be sellers. You're not going to be sellers at the deadline. You're going to be involved because you're going to be close. So because of that, no, you're not going to trade Odubel Herrera. Odubel Herrera has actually been really damn solid. 37 center fielders have at least 100 plate appearances this season. Odubel Herrera, 791 OPS, ranks 14th, one spot below Mookie Betts. The Phillies needed someone to not be terrible in center field. They got more than that. They got an above-average player. So there's pretty much your nod towards Odubel Herrera for stepping in and really producing. He's been more than just, hey, at least he's not terrible in center field, or hey, he's at least your best option because everybody else is horrendous. No, Odubel Herrera is actually performing. Odubel Herrera is actually producing at a really good level, one spot below Mookie Betts when you look at the OPS. So that doesn't mean that Odubel Herrera is Mookie Betts or even close to Mookie Betts, but it just shows you that you got way better production than just, at least he's not bad in center field. No, it's way stronger than that for sure. I'm nervous about the Phillies. They score a lot of runs in one game. They're flat the next. Yes, Laurie. I agree with you. And that's why we are waiting to talk about this Phillies team more in depth after we see what happens today. Back to Aaron Nola. You know, I did not think Aaron Nola was very sharp. I really didn't. I think Aaron Nola was just yesterday. It wasn't the most efficient. If you go to his finishing stat line, I don't even know if it'll. Okay, yeah. 5 innings pitched, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. You won the baseball game. Why? Because you scored 17 damn runs. You won 17-3. 5 innings pitched, 8 hits, 3 earned runs. Left a couple stranded when he got yanked. No, I wasn't. Yeah, he battled through another start, but he gave you 5 innings. He gave you 5 innings. And in that 5th, when he was out there in that last inning, there were a few men on before he got yanked. If that was a game where you had 2 runs scored, we'd be bitching and complaining way more that Aaron Nola just is not the version of Aaron Nola that we need to see this year. I won't let that get off the hook. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to be fooled by the explosion of the offense. I will strictly analyze Aaron Nola when we discuss this series later on. And yeah, I'm just not letting it fly. I'm not letting that fly because that Aaron Nola performance is in the category of bad Aaron Nola. Well, Aaron Nola's washed. What do you mean he's washed? He's 27 years old. He's not washed. What's his ERA this season? He's just not having a good season right now. He's 28 years old. He's got a 3.84 ERA, which is in 7 years he's got a 3.5 ERA. That's not washed. Spencer Howard today? Yeah, I think it is Spencer Howard today. Which I know people were bitching and complaining because they used Ranger Suarez. And we've been getting that little combination of, Ranger Suarez and Spencer Howard with the backpack every fifth day. Not that that was solidified. It wasn't something that they fully committed to, but it was something that they could have done because Spencer Howard can't go more than 3 or 4 innings. And I like that mentality. I like that philosophy. Ranger Suarez has really earned himself a nice little how do you do. But yeah, Spencer Howard on the mound, you're going to get yourself a whopping 2 innings, a whopping 3 up, 3 down, then maybe 1 strikeout, a walk, a hit batter, a single, a strikeout, a ground out. Then the velocity will dip from 97 to 91 in the 3rd inning. And then here we go again. Now we got to go full bullpen game. Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to do that? I don't understand the Howard dip. I really don't. You're right. There's something to be said about this 97, 98 mile per hour fastball. And then within 2 innings, you're watching a 24-year-old's velocity go from that high, and then he falls apart. He loses his command. And when some guys lose their command, it's noticeable, it's recognizable. But when Spencer Howard loses his command, it is the most extreme thing I've ever seen in my life. He goes from electric to a volcano erupting, and it just goes everywhere, and he's 7 inches off of the plate. 7 inches, 7 feet. He's 7 feet off the plate. Or you want it low and inside, and it's 9 feet off the plate, outside and high. His extreme differences is just one of the most mind-blowing things I've ever seen in my life. At such a young age, for his velocity to dip that much, it's absurd. I think Howard needs some offseason training to get in better shape. Yeah, I saw his first game, his quotes. Yeah, a joke. He said that he ran to first base. Running to first base apparently will get you 7 miles per hour off of your fastball. In what universe, dude? And I kind of feel bad for the kid because he's young. He doesn't know what we're like here with this media. And we didn't really shred him as much as we probably should have. We brought it up. We thought it was nonsense. We thought it was ridiculous. But we didn't really crucify Spencer Howard to this absurd level. I think people are more frustrated with the front office and the prospects and everything else that here's another guy that seems to stink, more so than I can't believe Spencer Howard said that. Him saying that and him relating running to first base to a velocity dip to that level more got us annoyed with, here's another prospect that can't complete the job, more so than I can't believe Spencer Howard said those words. So I don't really think we ripped him as a media. We should have. And, a young kid, not really knowing what he's saying when he makes a statement like that. It's just crazy, though. It really is. Yeah, DeGrom's gross, Nathan. DeGrom's gross. DeGrom throws like 10 101 mile per hour fastballs. Right? He throws anything he wants at will and commands it perfectly. Good luck. Nick says Dwight was dreadful last game. Yeah, Dwight has his moments. Dwight is an up and down player. Dwight has good times. Dwight has bad times. Dwight has strong 10-minute spurts where it grabs you 8 rebounds and maybe has 2 putback dunks. And then he also gives you 5 fouls in 6 minutes. And then he'll bitch and complain that he didn't touch any of these guys. What? 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 I didn't touch him. Then here's the replay. Dwight, you touched him. I just watched you. I just watched you. What? What? Dwight, you touched him 3 times. Dwight, you punched him in the face. Dwight, his nose is broken and his nose is touching his earlobes. What do you mean you didn't touch him? Insane. Tom, I think you're just outrageous. I really do. Now, yes, Zach Wheeler is better than Aaron Nola right now. Nobody's denying that. But whenever you comment something, I just feel you go to like this insane level of extreme. I would love to know how old you are, if I can ask that. I see you're I want to know how old you are. Because I just feel like you go to like this obnoxiousness level. And it seems, I don't know. I'll wait for you to answer before I make my. You're 81 years old. I don't know if I believe that. Maybe I'm wrong. I just think that you go too far. You go too far with everything. This guy stinks. This guy's awful. This guy's terrible. This guy's this. Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah, I know. Fellas, come on. I wasn't born yesterday. I wasn't born yesterday. I was not born yesterday. No way. He's 8. He's 12. I know. I know. It's just like so, yeah, 81. It's just so irrational, is why I bring that up. I feel like whatever is said is so damn irrational. It's like to this insane extreme. It's like we can say that Zach Wheeler's better than Nola. Doesn't mean Nola's washed. Doesn't mean Zach Wheeler's 10 times better. It doesn't mean this. The Doc Rivers that, this and that. We can all have great dialogue. We can all have some, opinions and things of that nature, but come on. I think we just get taken to like this level of wild. Nothing like an 81-year-old getting on YouTube to complain about Aaron Nola. Oh, man, that's funny. For a man with Dwight's size, one would think he'd be able to hold on to a ball without getting stripped every possession. Sometimes you just don't have that touch, though, Some guys have that touch, some guys don't. I watched Jokic, by the way. Speaking of touch, and this is different, although he's a big man, it's not the same as what you brought up with just the fact of getting stripped with possessions. I watched him with his back to the basket, and then he ended up making a beautiful pass to Michael Porter Jr. in the far corner yesterday in one of those overtimes. I forget if it was the second overtime or the first overtime, but Jokic just visually seeing and scanning the court, utilized his body as the ball over his head, finds MPJ wide open in the corner. I mean, it's just crazy how he sucked everybody towards him. That's the beauty. That's Jokic in his purest form, just making game-changing decisions and game-changing passes. It amazed me. Really, I almost fell over from greatness. Aaron Nola had a good game compared to, yeah, but Aaron Nola was not good yesterday. There's no way that I could put Aaron Nola in the good category yesterday. I'd say underwhelming. If I could describe Aaron Nola, the one word I would use after yesterday is underwhelming and not sharp. Do I live in Philly? I don't live in Philly. I live in South Jersey, about 15 minutes from the bridge. I spend a lot of time in Philly. I go into Philly a lot, but I don't live in the city. I live right outside in South Jersey. I'm a South Jerseyman. South Jerseyman. Philly's easy tonight. Well, they play this afternoon. They play at noon, 12:30 to be exact. So if you were waiting for tonight's game, you would have missed the game in its entirety. That would be a shame if that was the case. All these noon games are really messing with me, to be honest with you. Giving up 8 hits is not a good game. I agree. There's a lot of, these afternoon games like 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock, and 2:30. There was a 2:10. I think it was a 2:10 game on Memorial Day. It kind of threw me in for a loop with my recording schedule, and the holiday did as well, as I hosted some days on the Fanatic as well. So it's just been a little clunky with the Phillies as of the last few days over the last couple of series. So we'll get back on track after this Red series, hopefully. Let's look at the Phillies schedule, actually. Let's bring up the full Phillies schedule because it's kind of been throw me in for a loop. Afternoon game after afternoon game after afternoon game after holiday after this. Okay, so they play 12:35 today. They play the Nationals on Friday, so they're off on Thursday, which makes sense. Saturday, 4 or 5, Sunday, 1 o'clock. That's back to normal. Then they're off Monday. They play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 1, Saturday at 4. Then they start to get back on a little bit of a normal schedule. Then they go out west and start playing 10 o'clock games. All right, we're just going to have to kind of, stay up to date on these schedules. But the schedule as of late just kind of been throwing me off. There has not been an update on Joel Embiid, and we don't anticipate seeing one, you know? I don't anticipate seeing one by any means at all, at any point, until game time. Who do I think will be the breakout player for the Eagles this upcoming year? Can't be Hurts or Miles Sanders because everybody chooses them. The breakout player, I mean, Devontae Smith, here's your rookie, your number one draft pick of this year that has explosion, that could run routes like no other, who doesn't drop the football. He can actually catch that. Can you believe it? There's a wide receiver on the Philadelphia Eagles that can actually catch a football without dropping it. That's something that's new to me. So it would have to be Devontae Smith. It would have to be Devontae Smith. I don't even know what Jalen Reagor in the slot. Well, if Jalen Reagor's having a good year, that means Devontae Smith is probably having an exceptional year as well, in my opinion, because, well, that would be helping out Jalen Reagor's game. Probably won't be Dallas Goedert. I don't see that being the most explosive player. I think it's got to be Devontae Smith. It's got to be Devontae Smith. Simmons always tries to answer the critics in the first quarter, being aggressive than quiet. Well, that's because the game gets more important as the game moves on. Early on, it's like LA Fitness. Guys are just kind of running around. They're getting accustomed to the action. Yeah, there's something to be said about Simmons trying to go downhill early, score 3 of 3, get his 6 points early, and then from there, he'll finish the game out with a total of 10 points, so he gets 4 more throughout the 3 quarters or throughout the 3.5 quarters. Oh, yeah, he'll explode early and try to take advantage early, and that's fine. It's not a bad thing to be aggressive. It's just a bad that he stops that. But, yeah, there's a different mentality in quarter 3 than there is in quarter 1. There's a different mentality in quarter 2 and quarter 4 than there is in quarter 1. And he takes advantage of that early recognition of guys kind of getting accustomed to the flow of the game. Yes, there's something to be said about that for sure. He hasn't even played one game yet, Smith. That is correct. He has not played one game yet. What does that mean, though? Can he not be my answer? Who will be a breakout player? So you're saying I can't have him as a breakout player because he hasn't played one game yet? Smith won't get it done in the NFL. Too slow and too fragile. So then you're not an Eagles fan, number one. I'm not saying that you have to think that he's going to be amazing just because you're an Eagles fan, but that's just like a very irrational take. You know, he's too slow. What? The fact that you said he's too slow tells me everything I need to know about your assessment here. There's something to be said about his size, and there has been questions about his size, and that's fair. But just because he's small, this is a new league. This is a new league. The NFL is changing and adapting and becoming different. And look at the NHL and look at some of these other leagues where guys are smaller and guys are thinner and guys are different. Well, because the way that the league has changed with the physicality of it allows for some of these players to be effective, and it gives them more room and more opportunity to go out there and fly around a little bit. Yeah, I don't think saying that he's too slow for the NFL is something that I can get behind. Justin, we can't go Sixers off-season targets. There's no way during a playoff run are we looking into the Sixers off-season trade targets and free agency stuff. That's no bueno. That's no bueno. Brodes, is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? I think he is. The thing is, I can't stand when someone says, well, if you take away the 2 Super Bowls, well, excuse me? If you take away winning the championship twice, I mean, he won the championship twice. Yeah, he did. So I agree that if you did take away, he's the average quarterback, but he won the 2 Super Bowls. Well, he won them because of his defense. Well, He has the 2 Super Bowl. He's a 2-time Super Bowl winning champion, and he had a big role in winning those championships too. It wasn't all the defense. Yeah, I think Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer because of those championships. But don't tell me that, well, he's only in there because of his championship. That matters. Like that's a part of this. He's a champion. He's a champion, and he's the quarterback doing it. Come on now. So, yes. Is he the greatest? No, he's not Tom Brady. He's not all the greats. His play is what it is. And we recognize that his play is not elite. But when you talk about the history of the National Football League and you talk about the era where the Giants won those Super Bowls, that's a big part of NFL history that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. That is a huge, crucial run, huge, crucial part of the New England Patriots franchise, all that. That story of those years and what happened, like that's all part of history that deserves to be recognized forever. And Eli Manning was a part of that, and he won 2 championships because of it. That's different than being a bench guy and a secondary piece that played 50% of snap. That's different. We're talking about the quarterback. Pro Bowls mean nothing. Pro Bowls, all that stuff, that means nothing. Literally means nothing. All those things, that's garbage in the NFL. Well, if I could, I would redo every single Hall of Fame, and I'd be harder to judge than most. I think that there's a lot of crap in Hall of Fames. There's a lot of just like Russell Westbrook's going to make the Hall of Fame because he averages a triple-double. Is Russell Westbrook, to me, some guy that should be remembered forever? Nope. If he averaged 22, 10, and 8 instead of 22, 10, and 10, would he be in the Hall of Fame? I don't know. I mean, come on. You could talk about the NBA without talking about Russell Westbrook, in my opinion. I mean, you just can. So, I wouldn't have, I think that they allowed a lot of people to be in these Hall of Fames, and it's watered down. McNabb was overrated. Okay, you know what? This is what happens with you. People like you just don't get to talk as much. How about that? Now, Donovan McNabb, well, yeah, the Edelman thing, that's so funny. That's so fun. Like, that's a bad take. You start letting Edelman in the Hall of Fame, and it's just laughable. It really is laughable. That's horrendous. Well, look at his playoff stats. Yeah, come on. We're talking about a slot receiver as if this guy just you can talk about football without talking about Julian Edelman. You can. 40 years from now, Julian Edelman is another slot receiver. Did he have some nice moments in the playoffs? Yeah. Nobody's discrediting that. But having nice moments in the playoffs and being a Hall of Famer are 2 different things. Oh, but look at the MVP. Stop with that. You just winning, Tom Brady getting it every year would be boring. That's all that meant. Tom Brady throwing it to Julian Edelman underneath 1 billion times and having his numbers go up. You give it to Tom Brady there, and it's boring because Tom Brady wins it every single year. Come on with that. Do I think that George Hill should play over? I think it should be on the table. I think it should be an option. Well, to be fair, like the McNabb thing has been a conversation forever. I mean, he's one of the most. You think Ben Simmons is controversial? McNabb is the same thing. McNabb combo is the Ben Simmons combo. We're living the Ben Simmons combo. Like that's McNabb all over again. So there are people that do believe McNabb was horrendous. He was awful. He was very controversial, and it was nonstop back and forth over and over and over again. At the end of the day, the McNabb hate was just asinine, though. It got way too far. It got way too ridiculous. And it got put to a big-time extreme. No doubt about it. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's that tier right underneath. He's your first out type of guy. He's in your tier that's right out of the Hall of Fame type of quarterback. With today's standards. I'm saying with how they do it. With how they vote for guys. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but he's right outside of it. I'm not hating on him. I was a fan. I think that there was deserved criticism. I thought that there were times where there should have been some hate towards him and some intense words said about him on the radio and this and that. There's definitely reasons to be upset with him. He was not perfect, but ultimately, now that the McNabb era is over and done with, when you analyze it and realize the NFC Championship games that you went to, the Super Bowl that you went to, I mean, you were in contention every single year, and number 5 helped you be in contention every single year. So, look, there were some positives with him, there were some negatives with him, and there were times to be critical of him, for sure. He was not perfect by any means, but there was a level of aggressiveness with it too. Why does Doc Rivers overplay our start? What is going on today? What does that mean? What does that mean? Why does Doc overplay our starter? See, if anything, people complain that he plays the bench too much at times and he goes all bench too much, and then he'll throw you your all bench plus Tobias Harris. So, first off, it's playoff basketball. Your starters play 37 to 40-something minutes. It's playoff ball. I don't know where this is coming from. Why does Doc Rivers overplay our starters? I am baffled by some of the things we're getting today in this chat. It's actually, I think it's one person with multiple accounts. I mean, that's how absurd some of the comments have been today. You would think. We have 81-year-olds. We got everything today. Whew. Pretty insane, though. Yeah, we're blowing out teams by 25. We're playing B-ball Paul, Anthony Tolliver, and all these other scrubs at the end of a basketball game, and somehow we're playing too many minutes for our starters. I mean, it's just one of the weirdest days I could remember. They're not even playing that long. They're not even playing long. You're winning by 25. We haven't had a close game except for game 1. And then this last debacle when Joel Embiid was left out there, or was left the game injured, I should say, and he was not out there. But other than that, what's going on here? Do I think the Knicks push it to game 7? I don't. I really don't. Now, you're being kind of a jerk off, Ben, right? Like, this is kind of a shot at people. See, if you think Damian Lillard dropping, and this is where we get people that just go too far. So what you're saying is, because Dame missed a free throw, that's the same thing as what we're doing with Ben Simmons with Hack-a-Ben. If you don't see the difference, shame on you, really. I don't even need to explain this one, because that's a waste of energy. That's a waste of time. If you don't see that yourself, that Dame Lillard being clutch, hitting step-back J's and step-back threes in your face to keep you going at the end of regulation and at the end of overtime, and you're smacking threes and dropping 55. If Ben gives me 55, brings it double overtime because he was clutch in multiple moments, and then misses a free throw at any point in the game, I won't kill Ben that night. All right? How about that? There's your answer for you. If that happens, and I won't say a damn thing about Ben Simmons if that happens. I mean, come on. One team hacked a Ben on purpose because he sucks at shooting free throws, and it definitely costed the Sixers a game, and the other guy gives you 55 and is one of the clutchest players in the NBA. So, please, with that, Jesus, what the hell is going on? I can't handle this. I can't handle this. The hell is going on today? It's a joke today. Just an absolute joke. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much. I will be picking the Joel Embiid winner, the Joel Embiid jersey winner. I will have a new Hump Day giveaway up in a little bit. It's not going to be instantly. It'll be in a little bit. So I'll pick the winner for the jersey. We'll have a new one up in a little bit, and we'll have a Phillies game. So that is that. that I don't know if I'm going Twitch at 4 o'clock. Normally I do Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 4, but because the Phillies play at noon and I want to get a Phillies post-game podcast up before the Sixers game starts at 7, I don't know if I'm going live on Twitch, but if you follow me on Twitter, you'll either see that I am or I won't. But thank you all so much for hanging out today with me on Coffee with Brodes. I'll catch you guys later. Big game.